Are you stuck wondering what's next in life? Maybe you're working a job that pays the bills but drains your soul. You're not alone. Most of us were taught from a young age, go to school, get good grades, find a secure job, and grind your way to retirement. But what if I told you, that's not your real assignment? Let's pause the noise and lean into something deeper today. Because if you're feeling unfulfilled, lost in a cycle of survival, you're not broken. You're simply being called higher. When God created man, He didn't hand Adam a job application. He gave him purpose. Work didn't begin after sin. No, Adam was placed in the Garden of Eden and given an assignment. Dominion, stewardship, creation. He wasn't employed, he was deployed. But somewhere along the way, we traded purpose for a paycheck. We were created to rule, to innovate, to solve, and to expand. Yet today we've been taught to play it safe, to shrink into systems that were never meant to define us. Culture says, find a job. But God, He says, seek first the kingdom. Let's be real. We've bought into a mindset that security is in a salary. But true provision doesn't come from employment. Your boss isn't your provider. The government isn't your source. Your paycheck isn't your identity. God is Jehovah Jireh, the source that never runs dry. Jesus never handed out resumes. He never told anyone to go find work at the synagogue or apply for a better fishing gig. Instead, He said, "Follow me and I will make you fishers of men." He shifted people from employment to assignment. Purpose doesn't chase money, it chases impact. Take Joseph. He didn't climb Egypt's corporate ladder, he interpreted a dream. He solved a problem no one else could, and that gift took him from prison to palace. David? He didn't campaign for kingship. He ran toward Goliath when soldiers cowered in fear. Why? Because he was called to that moment. Purpose is about solving what others ignore, creating what the world is missing. You were designed to be a solution. So instead of asking, where can I find a job? Start asking, what problem was I created to solve? Many people think they're waiting on God. But in reality, God is waiting on them to step into their purpose. Your gift makes room for you. It's already inside you: skills, passion, wisdom, creativity. You don't need to be picked. You've already been positioned. In the kingdom, you don't trade hours for dollars. You create value that echoes in eternity. Jesus didn't need a salary. When Peter needed to pay taxes, the provision showed up in the mouth of a fish. Why? Because when you walk in purpose, heaven funds your mission. Now let's flip it. Let's talk about the unknown, that scary space between where you are and where God is calling you. It's terrifying, right? But what if I told you the unknown isn't your enemy? It's your elevation zone. Abraham didn't have a roadmap, but he obeyed. Esther didn't ask to be royalty, but her courage saved a nation. Moses stuttered and doubted, but God said, "I will be with you." You don't have to know every detail. You just have to trust the one who does. Change feels like chaos. But with God, change is always an invitation. What feels like a closed door is really redirection. What looks like a setback is training for the next level. You're not stuck, you're being positioned. God doesn't let go of your hand just because you can't see the next step. He's already walked the path ahead. He's preparing you while you're questioning. That silent season, that strategy time in heaven. You may feel like your purpose is delayed. Maybe your plans have crumbled and you don't recognize your life anymore. But can I tell you something real? Purpose doesn't expire. Delays don't cancel destiny. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean God changed His mind. He's not building your comfort. He's building your character. Your preparation isn't punishment, it's promotion in disguise. Let's get honest for a second. Have you ever stood at the edge of a decision something new, something uncertain, and felt that lump in your chest? That hesitation that whispers, what if it all goes wrong? We've all been there. Whether it's leaving a job, starting something new, stepping into your calling, or simply trusting God when nothing makes sense, fear always shows up at the threshold of destiny. And here's why. Fear is loudest right before breakthrough. It's like standing at the edge of a cliff, not knowing what's below. Your heart races. Your mind replays every possible failure. Your imagination becomes a war zone. But what if I told you that fear is actually a sign that you're getting close to your next level? Because fear doesn't fight what isn't a threat. Fear shows up because you matter. Because your calling is real. Because hell knows what's on the other side of your obedience. Let me paint a picture. Peter was in a boat safe. The storm was raging outside, waves crashing. But in the chaos, Jesus was out on the water. And he said, "Come." Now pause. Put yourself in Peter's shoes. You're looking at Jesus, yes. But you're also looking at wind, waves, darkness, and your own fear. And yet, he stepped out. He walked on water. Not because the storm stopped, not because the situation made sense, but because his faith was louder than his fear. And the second he started looking down, when fear got the upper hand, he sank. Let that sink in. Fear doesn't just paralyze you, it pulls you under. So many of us are sinking right now, not because we aren't called, not because we're not gifted, but because we've been looking at the waves more than we've been looking at the one who called us. Fear will have you staying in a job you hate because at least it's safe. Ignoring your dream because what if I fail? Delaying your calling because the timing isn't perfect. But listen, faith isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward in spite of it. God didn't give you a spirit of fear. Remember? 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." That means if fear is speaking into your life, it's not from Him. That hesitation, that anxiety, that pressure to play it safe, that's the enemy trying to keep you in survival mode when you were born to lead, build, create, and rule. You don't need all the answers. You don't need the full plan. You don't need a guarantee. You just need enough faith to take the next step. Because on the other side of your fear is freedom. On the other side of hesitation is heaven's agenda. On the other side of doubt is your divine assignment. Let me say it straight. The enemy's biggest fear is you realizing who you are in Christ. That's why he floods your mind with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. But it's time to silence fear with truth. Because the moment you say, even if I'm scared, I'll still go, that's the moment fear loses its grip and faith takes over. You don't have to be fearless to follow God. You just have to be obedient. God is not calling the qualified. He's qualifying the called. He's calling you, so even if you're trembling, step out. Because the water doesn't part until your feet hit it. The miracle doesn't move until you do. And that fear you feel, it's not the end. It's the beginning of something greater. Now I want to hear from you. Take a moment and drop this in the comments. What fear have you been battling? And what step of faith are you ready to take? Be real. Be raw. This isn't about perfection, it's about movement. Whether it's launching something new, walking away from something that no longer fits, or trusting God with something uncertain. Let this be your declaration. I'm moving even if I'm afraid. And if you don't know what to write, yet start here. Lord, help me step even when I'm scared. Let's fill this comment section with bold faith. Let's remind each other that we're not alone in the unknown. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. Psalm 56, verse 3. Write that somewhere you'll see it. Say it out loud. Pray it this week. Because that fear you're feeling, it's a signal, not a stop sign. Let's talk. What step of faith are you taking this week? Drop it in the comments. We're walking together. Let's be clear about something. Faith isn't blind. It's not reckless. It's not guesswork. And it's definitely not crossing your fingers and hoping God shows up. Faith is anchored. It's rooted in truth. It's grounded in the character of a God who has never failed, not once, in all of history. Let's stop treating faith like it's fragile, because real faith, the kind that moves mountains, it's gritty, it's raw. It's the kind that stands in front of the storm and says, even if it doesn't make sense, I'm still moving forward. You don't need faith when things are certain. You need faith when the plan falls apart, when the doors don't open, when the provision hasn't shown up yet, when the calling feels bigger than your qualifications. That's when real faith is born. Let me ask you this. Do you think Abraham felt fearless when God told him to pack up and leave everything? He wasn't given a map. He didn't have a 5-year plan. He didn't get a contract from heaven with all the details spelled out. All he had was a word. Go to the land I will show you. Genesis 12, verse 1, not go to this address, not go for 2 months, not go and here's your reward, just go. That's faith, not blind, just anchored. Anchored in the one who called him. Anchored in the belief that if God said it, he's already made a way, and now it's your turn. Maybe you're being called to leave comfort behind. Maybe you feel the pull to start something new, even if no one understands it. Maybe you're in a season where God is silent, but your spirit is stirring. That's not confusion. That's a summons. A holy invitation to trust what you can't yet see. And here's the good news. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just need enough faith to say, God, I'm willing. It's like driving through thick fog. You can only see a few feet ahead, but you keep going because your headlights give you just enough visibility to move forward. You trust the road is there because it always has been. You don't need to see 10 miles down. You just need enough light for the next move. That's faith. God doesn't light the whole highway. He lights the next step. And when you move on that step, he reveals the next. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, verse 105. Not a spotlight, not a floodlight, a lamp, one step at a time. So if all you've got today is enough faith to say yes to the next step, that's enough. Because you're not walking in the dark, you're walking in light, his light. Faith isn't a leap into nothing, it's a step toward everything. It's not about knowing all the answers. It's about trusting the author of your story. So don't wait until you're ready. Don't wait until the fear is gone. Don't wait for everyone's approval. Just move. Even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, move. Because when you step in faith, he steps with you. You keep praying for a breakthrough, waiting for something external to change your situation, more money, a new opportunity, the right connection, that one moment when it all finally clicks. But what if I told you the breakthrough you're waiting on is already inside of you? What if the key to your next level isn't out there but buried within you? The world teaches us to chase positions, platforms, paychecks. But God, he gave you a gift, not a generic skill, not a random hobby, a divine deposit placed in you before you were born. And that gift, that's your key. That's what unlocks rooms you were never supposed to beg your way into. Proverbs 18:16 says it best. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. It doesn't say your job title makes room for you. It doesn't say your degree, your resume, your social media following. It says your gift. Let that sink in. Your gift will do what hustle can't. Your gift will open doors no one can shut. Your gift will place you in rooms that your background, your bank account, or your experience could never earn. But here's the hard truth. Most people never tap into it. They bury it under fear, under self-doubt, under the lie that they're not ready or not good enough. They get so caught up in survival mode working for a paycheck that they never discover what they were truly born to do. Look at Joseph. He didn't beg Pharaoh for a promotion. He didn't campaign for attention. He simply used his gift interpreting dreams. He did what God put in him, and it took him from the prison to the palace. One gift, in the right moment, unlocked destiny. Look at David. He didn't become king by networking his way to the top. He was just tending sheep, worshipping, sharpening his sling, using his gift quietly until the day that gift brought him face to face with Goliath. And that moment, that was the catalyst for everything. The crown didn't give him the gift. The gift made him worthy of the crown. Now let's bring it home. You don't need to wait for the perfect opportunity. You don't need to chase clout or beg to be chosen. You've already been chosen. The question isn't, when will someone recognize me? The real question is, when will I start using what God already put in me? You see, when you discover your gift, you stop competing. You stop comparing. Because you realize no one can beat you at being you. That thing that comes naturally to you, the insight, the creativity, the way you encourage people, how you write, build, speak, plan, see what others miss. That's not random, that's your assignment. But a gift that's never activated stays locked. So many people are praying for God to open a door, but they haven't even picked up the key He gave them. They keep asking for favor, but they're not using the very thing that makes room for it. God doesn't waste anything. He puts inside you, but you have to be the one to steward it. You have to develop it, practice it, use it, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. Because the platform isn't the promise, the purpose is. If you're faithful with the gift in the field, God will promote you to the palace. And when He does, you won't need to fake it. You won't need to strive. You'll just keep doing what you were born to do, and people will say, "How did you get here?" And you'll say, "I stopped chasing a job, and I started unlocking my gift." This is your wake-up call. It's time to stop ignoring what God placed in you. Stop hiding your voice. Stop downplaying your potential. Stop waiting for permission. Your gift is the evidence that heaven already gave you a green light. So go, use it, develop it, sharpen it, let God breathe on it. Because when you walk in your gift, favor follows, provision follows, impact follows, and most importantly, purpose awakens. So don't die with your gift still inside you. Don't let fear bury what faith was meant to release. You weren't just created to exist, you were created to contribute. You were born to solve a problem. And inside of you is the answer someone is praying for. Use your gift. That's the key. That's how you unlock what's next. Let's take a moment to pray together. Father, I thank you for the gift you've placed inside each person watching this right now. For too long, we've doubted, delayed, and buried what you freely gave us. But today we say no more. Awaken the gift, God. Reveal it, refine it, use it. Help us stop chasing what the world calls success and start walking in the purpose you already wrote into our story. Give us the boldness to move, even when we're afraid, the clarity to see what you've placed in our hands, and the faith to believe that what's in us is more than enough for the assignment ahead. We're not waiting for a title or a platform. We're ready to be deployed. Use us for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Right now, take a minute and reflect on this. What's one gift God has placed in you that you've been afraid or hesitant to use? Maybe it's a creative talent. Maybe it's leadership. Maybe it's speaking, writing, encouraging, building, planning, whatever it is, name it. Write it down in a journal, or even better, drop it in the comments so we can speak life into it, declare it, call it out, take ownership of what God has given you. Here's a simple sentence you can start with: my gift is, and I'm ready to use it. Let this be your moment of activation, your line in the sand. No more hiding, no more waiting. Your gift is the key. Use it.